You have been living in Canada for a very long time, you are a Canadian permanent resident or a Canadian citizen, and at this point of time, you are planning on bringing your parents to Canada to live with your family. Almost every single day, we get calls from folks who are interested in bringing their parents to Canada to live with their family, to complete their family here in Canada, and they ask for options how they can do this. In this video, we're going to talk about how you can bring your parents to Canada, the parent grandparent sponsorship, and most importantly, the super visa program. So stay tuned until the end of this video. Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Roop. I am a regulated Canadian immigration consultant. At our firm, Effizient, we assist all prospective immigrants with their immigration to Canada. If you are an aspirant, if you are a permanent resident Canadian citizen, you need assistance with bringing your parents, or for any other matter thereafter, you're a temporary resident looking for options to extend your status in Canada, here is our contact information. Feel free to contact us. We would be happy to chat with you. If you would like to talk to me personally, the link to book an appointment with me directly is in the description of this video. Feel free to book an appointment and I would be happy to chat with you. Now, before we go into the details of how you can bring your parents here in Canada, let's go over the comment of the video. Now, this comment comes on our video on OINP International Student Stream. So here you can see the video and here you can see the comment. The comment is, what about PCC, biometric and medical? I'm assuming the question is, do you need to provide PCC, biometrics and medical for your OINP application under the International Student Stream? An excellent question, and the answer is no, you do not require any PCC, medical or biometrics for an OINP application. As a matter of fact, for any PNP application, PCC, biometrics and medical is not required. PCC, biometrics and medical are required for criminality, background, and health checks, which are done at the federal level by IRCC, not at the provincial level. You will need all these documents when you apply for PR after OINP nomination, but you don't need them at the moment. I hope this helps. Now, coming back to how you can bring your parents here if you are a permanent resident or a Canadian citizen, well, the number one way is parent grandparent sponsorship. And as most of you may know, there are very limited spots. It's a lottery based system. You go into a pool and you are picked from the pool. If you are lucky enough to be picked from that pool, great, you can apply for your parents sponsorship and they can come to you here as permanent residents. That would be an ideal option provided you meet the income requirements. But in most cases, IRCC, for example, has not opened that pool for new people to get in for a very long time. Over 4 or 5 years, they have kept the pool static, and that is causing a lot of people to miss this opportunity to get their parents in the pool to begin with. Leave aside the opportunity, get the ITA. Now that leaves folks hanging and they are trying to wonder what else they can do to bring their parents here. Well, one option is a visitor visa that will allow your parents to come here for a 6 month visit and then they have to leave the country. But the other option, that is super visa, is the saving grace here. This program, the super visa program, allows your parents to stay with you for a period of up to 5 years in a single stay. They can stay with you, they can be here. The only caveat is they are not allowed to work. Anyways, if you have parents who are in their 60s, 70s, or 80s, they're not coming here to work. They are only here to be with you, to support your family, and to be around their grandkids if you have kids. So, given that super visa is one of the most reliable pathway for bringing your parents here, the rest of the video we are going to talk in detail about the super visa program, and we're going to talk about the eligibility requirements, the income requirements, and how you can go ahead and apply for a super visa. So here on the screen you can see the IRCC's official page on super visa, and we're going to start with what are the requirements. So guys, here you can see the eligibility requirements. So the eligibility requirements are very simple. One is that you must have a host who is your child or grandchild and is a Canadian permanent resident or a Canadian citizen. And these are the only folks who are eligible, right? So if you are on a work permit in Canada, you cannot bring your parents on super visa. You have to be a permanent resident or a Canadian citizen. The child has to be at least 18 years old and he needs to live in Canada. they need to meet the minimum necessary income, and then they need to provide a signed invitation letter with a promise of financial support. That means your child must say, or if you are applying for your parents, you have to give them a letter that says that you're inviting them and you will support them financially when they are in Canada. Now, this part here, meeting the minimum necessary income, becomes very important. So let's take a look at the minimum necessary income. So guys, here is the table that talks about the minimum necessary income for a super visa application. Uh, the most important thing here is calculating the family size. So how to calculate family size for a super visa application? If you are single, for example, and you're inviting two of your parents, so your mom and dad, and you are a single child, you're living here in Canada, that makes a family size of 3. That includes you, your mom, and your dad, 3 people. And with a family size of 3, the income is 44,966. Now, this is the income that should appear on your notice of assessment of prior year. If you're applying in 2025 or in 2024, the notice of assessment for 2023 should showcase at least 44,966 Canadian dollars of income. Say you're married, now you have a spouse and you're bringing your mom and dad, that's a family size of 4, and then you need the income of 54,594. If say you had a little one, you had a kid, then the family size becomes 5, you, your spouse, your kid, your mom and dad, and you would need a family income, or you would need minimum necessary income of 61,920. Now, guys, you can also combine your and your spouse's income to meet the minimum income requirement, and that way you can club both the notice of assessments and both the incomes to prove that you meet the minimum necessary income. So that is about the income. The next requirement is health insurance. You need to purchase health insurance for both the applicants, your mom and dad, or if you're inviting only your mom or only your dad, then you need for just one of them, right? So depending on who all are coming, every applicant needs to have health insurance with minimum coverage of 100,000 Canadian dollars. This has to be issued by a Canadian insurance company or an insurance company outside of Canada that is approved by IRCC. At the moment, there are very few, not a lot, but any Canadian insurance company would work for this insurance. So it's recommended you buy it from Canadian insurance company. It's pretty easy to find insurance companies for super visa, and the minimum coverage has to be 100,000 Canadian dollar, and it has to be for minimum 1 year from the date you enter the country. Um, In addition to insurance, for a super visa application, a medical exam is also required. So basically, if you are outside Canada, your parents will have to do a medical exam if they're outside Canada, or they have to go through a medical exam, and they have to submit the IME result to IRCC to be able to qualify for a super visa. Now, with all these requirements met, you can apply for super visa either through the new visitor visa portal or through the GCK account. The process is very similar to applying for a normal visitor visa, but you just select super visa in the application form or on the portal, whichever way you're applying. Once you apply for a super visa, the applicants, for example, your mom and dad, will have to do the biometrics. If they have not submitted an upfront medical, they will later receive a request for medical. If they've already done a medical exam, then they will not receive any request. Therefore, and hence, after the biometrics and the medical, you will, or you should expect to receive final decision unless IRCC requires any further information. That's it for this video, guys. We've talked about the eligibility requirements for super visa, we've talked about how you can apply, and most importantly, we've talked about the minimum necessary income required to apply for a super visa. If you are in Canada, you are looking to apply for your parents super visa, just make sure you meet the minimum income requirement before you pursue a super visa application, because if you don't meet the income requirement, your application will be straight out refused. That's all for super visa, guys. If you like this video, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you are notified about any new video that we upload. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.